What is up, you guys? It is Maddie here, and today I'm bringing you my Elder Scrolls Online review. Now, before anything, be sure to check out the previous video and the link in the description. It is a Fallout lore video. So, I'm finally doing it. The official buy or pass for Elder Scrolls Online. You guys have been waiting a while for this, and I feel I've gotten enough experience under my belt. Currently at level 25, and I have a lot of experience in PvE and PvP. I've been binging the crap out of this game, and it really has me hooked. I'm here to tell you all the good things and bad things about this, and in the end of the day, whether or not you should buy it. I told you guys I'm going to buy it. I've given you guys my beta impressions and all that stuff before my day one impressions, but it's about time I officially give you guys the Mr. Maddie Plays certified recommendation or not of this game. So, without further ado, let's hop into it. So this game has a clear advantage starting right off the bat over other MMOs. It takes place in a universe that we have been in before, the Elder Scrolls universe. We have explored Morrowind, we have explored Cyrodiil, and we've explored Skyrim. And so now, having it set in that Tamriel universe, we have that advantage of being interested in it already compared to other games like, I don't know what to compare it to, actually, to be completely honest, because other MMOs have not really intrigued me as heavily because they don't have experiences that I've already been interested in the past. But this leads to what I love most about this game, and it's interesting quest lines. There's a quest variety. It's not always just kill this or collect that. It feels like with all these well-written quests that there's actually a reason behind your action. I'm not just being sent around to do shit and that's about it. It also sometimes challenges your mind, and to a small degree it brings you little puzzles and whatnot, making you read into the Elder Scrolls lore, which is something I personally haven't done very much because I'm not a huge fantasy geek. I love fantasy games, but I'm not into the fantasy lore because, well, it's quite fake. Where as something like Fallout, personally, just for a quick reason behind this, something like Fallout, you know, I could see that happening, so it's interesting. Anyways, like I said, the quest lines are really what keep me hooked in this game, and why I keep coming back is because I want to learn more and more about the universe now, and I enjoy just learning the stories about all these separate areas in these different pieces of the universe. Anyways, speaking of quests, there is one issue, and that's broken quests. They have been an issue since launch, and they're not nearly as often as what they were on day one, but when they come around, they are so frustrating. Like, my inner OCD comes out, like, I have to find a way to finish this quest because it'll just sit there on my journal, and I will never go back and do it, so I have to, like, log in, log out, quit the game, and, you know, try to do all these various fixes that just don't work, and just hope that one time it does work. So this is a glitch that really needs to be fixed. I know, like I said, it's a huge game, it's not going to be perfect, but I would like to see these broken quests be done with because they are quite frustrating when they come around. But let's just say, like I said in the beginning of this video, the game is addicting. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, I don't have class until 12:30 in the afternoon. So you can really only guess on what I'm doing on Monday and Wednesday nights, playing just this game all night. It is just so much fun. I don't know what about it that's just really got me hooked. Like I said, I think I really have to thank the quest for that. There's always an interesting story, keeping me intrigued, and I really want to learn at the end what's going to happen. I also like in the quest lines that there are actually these perks that you can pick from when you're leveling up with your skill points, and one can be a persuasion, one can be an intimidate, and you actually sometimes in conversations during your quest lines, often enough, get these options to use these, and this allows you to maybe avoid an objective or whatnot, and it really makes you feel rewarded for investing your skill points in these trees. I'm like, oh, it might only be in the main quest lines, like the you know, the Fighters Guild or the main story and stuff like that, but no, it actually comes up in your everyday side quest, and it actually really, you know, cuts down on time, or makes me go, wow, good thing I invested in that, and I really do like that. It's a rewarding experience. Now, one thing I do want to say is that I am a Dark Elf in the Ebonheart pack, and so I want to say that my experience is only in this area, but I do want to say that the area variety in the Ebonheart pack alone really isn't too prevalent. Every now and then your eyes are treated to something different, such as the area you see I'm in now. This is an interesting Argonian-like temple area. I really do like it. But it's only usually slightly. You know, I've seen these type of areas a bunch of times. They kind of just look like shrines and whatnot. But during the beta, I felt like my first few hours with the Daggerfall Covenant, for example, I saw a lot more area variety compared to God knows how many hours I put into my Ebonheart pack character. So it's something worth mentioning. Like I said, I'm not expecting, you know, this super extra detail in every corner of the map type thing, but a little bit different variety to treat my eyes to would have been nice to see, but nonetheless, it's nothing that really pushed me away from the game quite yet. One thing I do love about this game is the equipment crafting system. At times it feels useless though, since most quest items are built for your level or around that level, a level ahead or something, and are usually better than what you can craft. When crafting, you can obviously build the piece of equipment from scratch, and then you can actually reinforce it to make it better, bringing up its rarity value from, it starts off at green, or it starts off at white, obviously, and you can bring it up to green, then blue, and it just keeps going like that. And then you can even toss an enchantment on this to make it your only fully customized piece of weapon or armor or jewelry, whatever you are making. And while this sounds so awesome, this brings in the desperate need for a certain feature in this game. And that feature is the auction house. It must be added. It has to be added. It just needs to. Some items are just simply too rare, and trying to negotiate through zone chats and whispers with other players is just so tedious. I'd love to just have an auction system, and it would work in Tamriel. It really makes sense. You got all these traders and merchants that you run into on the roads that you can kind of dump off your stuff to and whatnot, and it would just make sense. And I just love to buy, for example, hemming in bulk so that I can reinforce my robes, but sometimes it feels like these items are so hard to come by that an auction house is just something that really needs to be added so I can start reinforcing my armor and stuff. I can kind of see why it may have not been added just for that, because maybe making my items too good is something that they don't want. They want me to work for it, and that I understand. But in the meantime, really I do want to be able to trade and negotiate with other players, because a lot of times I'm starting to enjoy the multiplayer aspect of it, but a lot of the times I just feel a little bit alone in this massive world, if you get what I'm trying to say. Now on to the combat. Combat's alright, I don't have much to say on it. It's your basic MMO hotbar combat, but I will admit there is a greater emphasis on your melee combat, which is a good thing, and it's something kind of different from your typical MMOs where, you're usually just hitting 1, 2, 3, blah, blah, blah. But with this, you can block your attacks, or their attacks, when they have like a little Q above them, and then you can just hit them with a power attack, you knock them down. It kind of keeps you engaged in the combat too a little bit, but the animations are so slow and hard to read, you don't know how long you want to charge up for and stuff. It's something that throws me off a little bit, and it is a tad clunky. I'd like to see some refinement there if possible. But speaking of hotbars, there should be an extra slot or two. There has to be. I'm sorry. I just feel like the powers are they're so awesome. There's so many ones I want to mess around with and mix together, but it just removes player choice to a degree because it's so constricting. If you haven't played, or if you haven't felt this yet, and you are playing ESO and you just felt like stopping by in this video, and just wait till you get to a higher level, because you will experience it where you got these awesome set of powers. Like for me, for example, I'd love to use a snare power I have, but I love using my summon abilities. So those summon abilities take up spots on my hotbar, and I have to switch them up. Now there is an ability where, or not an ability, but once you hit level 15, you can have 2 weapon and armor sets. One can be a shield and sword, and the other can be a 2-handed. But there is no hotkey that I'm aware of that allows you to swap between these two in combat or before a combat. Instead, I have to bring up a menu, switch between them. So giving me that second hotbar really isn't worth it, because this second piece of equipment that I can use has its own separate hotbar. But it just doesn't work because I can't keep using, my mage spells. I have to switch up my entire playstyle. And while that is a welcome addition, at the same time, it's just not seamless enough because it makes me go in, change it, and then come back out. You get what I'm trying to say, hopefully. Now, that's my whole opinion on the whole PvE section of the game. Really enjoy it, but there are some few things I do want refined. Now, onto the PvP, which I've had quite a bit of time with now. Now, pardon me for the language, but it is a clusterfuck. Don't get me wrong. When you're sitting there watching 200 players plus just charge at each other, it is nothing short of epic. It gives me an adrenaline rush every time I'm part of it, just running with my whole entire army, attacking everyone. It is so awesome, and just forming armies with other players and taking down keep by keep is just so epic. But where the chaos comes in is that you find yourself a lot of times being in a standoff where both sides of the battle are just setting up siege gear, firing at each other, doing ranged attacks, but never getting the kills because your health regens so quick that the second I get hit by some ranged attack from some mage down the map, I run away, I regen my health, I come back into the battle, and that's what everyone's doing, and it's this constant recycling process so that nothing ever progresses in the battle. Now, most of you are probably saying, oh, that's alright, we can just be tactical, do flanks, be smart and whatnot. But nope. You want to know why? A lot of the key areas take place on water. For example, for those of you who have played this game, use Castle Alessia as an example. Before you travel to Castle Alessia on the side of the Ebonheart Pact, there is a bridge to get there, and this bridge has water, and a lot of battles take place on this bridge. The water is poison, ladies and gentlemen, not just in this specific area, but in general. The water does damage to you when you swim in it. So yeah, let's say I'm like, all right, let's go under the bridge, let's flank them. So that's what me and a squad of people did. We're like, let's get behind them, let's do this. And it was really exciting. We go in the water and we die. And it's like, you know, it just removes this player choice to a degree where it feels like these battles are forced down these narrow paths and I'm just sitting here constantly shooting at each other. So PvP, as awesome as it is, and as awesome an idea as it is, they really need to not let this water be poisonous because it removes a tactical aspect of the battle. Other than that, like I said, a lot of times you find yourself just standing there watching people shoot siege weapons at each other and just kind of waiting for something to happen. It's a lot of waiting, and I'm not saying that I'm impatient, I can't deal with that, but there has to be some form of change in it where whether the water doesn't do damage to you or not, something has to change in it. But that is the Elder Scrolls Online review. So if you've stayed this whole time, I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. But at the end of the video, you want to know, should I recommend this to you or not? And honestly, if you are an Elder Scrolls fan, hell yes. If you are looking for a game to invest your time in, double hell yes, because this game is just taking up all my time whenever I have free time. And I'm enjoying every bit of it. I really, like I said in my past 2 impressions of the official launch, of the first day impressions, I just haven't had these quests or these experiences where I'm sitting here like, oh, okay, you know, what's next, you know, kind of getting bored. I always felt engaged. I'm like, I always had that moment of like, just one more quest, and just one more enemy, you know, whatever. And it's just an engaging experience for some reason. I can't really pinpoint what I love about it so much, but I gotta say it's gotta be the quest lines, and they really keep me interested, even more than, for example, Skyrim. Skyrim, what kept me interested was its faction quest lines, while this, it's like every side quest has an interesting story to tell, in my opinion, and I really am enjoying it. So if you are a PC owner, or hell, if you're looking forward to the console version and you are an Elder Scrolls fan, I'd say it's honestly worth your money, but you have to be willing to put in that time, because there is a lot to get out when you put in that time. Like I said, I put in tons and tons and tons of hours into this game. I'm only level 25, and there's so much more to experience. I have 2 more faction storylines to experience and everything like that, and I've only it's only been since, what, the 4th this game officially launched, and I think the 29th is when the early access played, and I've just been playing it every time I have free time and just putting so much time into it. But yeah, that is the official verdict. I am recommending you buy in it, and it's just an interesting transformation, in my opinion. What was it like? You know, when they did the paywall and everything, that I kind of still think there's prevalent, because it took me about 20 levels to get the money to buy myself a horse, but you know, I was raging at that. I was raging at the paywalls, and I started to accept it, but I wasn't really too impressed with the beta and gave my honest opinions. And then over time, this game just grew on me more and more, and now I just want more and more every time I go back and play it. So yeah, those are my extended thoughts on it all. There's my review. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. As always, be sure to follow me on Twitter, like me on Facebook, keep my discount codes in mind. Other than that, my Elder Scrolls lovers, stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.